Things are about to get a lot more interesting for the Montreal Canadiens as we have new bombshell trade rumors that, again, and this is just my opinion, I think is going to tumble into other trade rumors as well, and trades that are definitely going to happen. I did predict that there was at least going to be one medium-sized trade before the season starts. I don't think the Canadiens are done, and honestly, credit to the Montreal Canadiens because they have kind of saved this offseason a little bit with the Duke trade. Obviously, the Noah Dobson trade was just unbelievable. I love that trade. And we are going to get into this new stuff in today's video. But guys, welcome back to Pixel Plus Hockey. If you could make sure to hit that subscribe button, it would be so greatly appreciated. And thank you so much to those that are already supporting me as well. As always, it is just super, super humbling. One of the biggest things that you need in a hard cap era is flexibility, okay? When you are in a hard cap situation, every single dollar counts. Sometimes I debate this with people and I tell them, listen, you have to be hard on players when negotiating contracts because every single dollar is going to count. We've seen stuff where it comes down to like $100 on your cap or how much cap space you have accrued throughout the year as to whether you can get that top player that's going to push you over the top in the Stanley Cup playoffs. And now we do have a very, very interesting report from Marco D'Amico. Quote, "The expectation across the league is that Carey Price's contract should be moved in the coming days," close quote, because now they can free themselves from Price's contract. And I'm telling you, whether I'm right that some kind of trade happens within the next month or whether it happens in season, this is going to allow the Montreal Canadiens a lot more flexibility so they can accrue cap space. And this can, cap space is everything in the National Hockey League. I'm telling you. Let's say the Montreal Canadiens are in a playoff battle, okay, and they are probably going to make the playoffs, but maybe Kirby Dach isn't having that great of a season. This move right here could be the difference between you guys getting that second line center that you need and not. Okay, this is how important this trade is. Because listen, last year and years before, Montreal Canadiens were able to do cap gymnastics to be able to figure it out. But unfortunately, this year, they're just not able to actually do that. So they literally need to make this move specifically. Now, we have another very interesting quote here. Price, who has unofficially retired due to injury, has 1 year left on his deal with $10.5 million cap hit, but only $7.5 million in actual salary owed. Moving the contract would help the Montreal address its current $6 million cap overage and create the flexibility needed for in-season trades. It would also help teams that need to get this to salary cap floor. In exchange, the Canadiens would likely offer up a trade sweetener, close quote. So, when I hear trade sweetener possibly going the other way, that does worry me a little bit because it depends on what they give up. The Montreal Canadiens are probably going to need to give one of these teams that are inquiring about him something, but it better not be a major piece. I don't think that it will, but again, we're going to have to probably see something going the other way, even though this actually does help the other team too. At the end of the day, they're taking on a lot of money, and you're probably going to need to pay to some degree. Let's keep in mind the Montreal Canadiens do have a lot of draft capital, so you can probably give away some of that draft capital, obviously not their higher end draft picks, if you understand what I mean. Because here we have another really interesting quote from Marco D'Amico regarding Carey Price's contract. Sources have heard the most amount of noise around the San Jose Sharks acquiring a contract like Price's would give them the necessary insurance to trade higher priced players without dipping under the salary cap floor. So obviously we're going to be looking at the California teams as to how they're going to be, that's one of the teams. We don't know this for absolutely sure, but we're pretty sure right now it's going to be the San Jose Sharks if I had to guess right now. Honestly, at the end of the day, my take on this is going to be that I hope the Canadiens hustle a little bit. They need to make this move, and other teams probably know that, but if I was the Canadiens and the management, I would try to hustle as much as I could. You don't want to put too much pressure on these teams because this helps the Canadiens. It's kind of like a win-win scenario, but maybe you can loosen up some kind of usable asset, right? Like maybe you can just put the screws a little bit to the San Jose Sharks and say, can we get this player? Or if we give you this draft pick, can you at least give us a draft pick back? Let's say it's like they're giving up a fourth attached to Carey Price's contract. Can we get a fifth back or something like that, just so they're not losing out that much draft capital? That's what I would try to do anyway. And this next quote is exactly what I have been talking about. Quote, with Price's contract off of the books, Montreal could be in a position to make a secondary trade, adding immediate NHL-ready talent. TVA Sports' Jean Charles writes, Kent Hughes, Canadiens GM, would be inclined to give up picks, especially in their first round, in order to add a natural center to his squad. A complex but effective agreement, as the GM likes, would be taking shape. The Western Conference is one to watch, close quote. So this is obviously going to tumble into other trades. Can you imagine if this trades, they're able to accrue cap space, get a bit more flexibility, then somehow they can get a hold of Mason McTavish? That would be the absolute dream. Like I said, if they aren't able to get a center that they want, in my last video yesterday, I talked about the importance of Kirby Dach, and I will stand by that. If they are not able to get that center at least halfway through the season or something like that with all of this cap space, you need Kirby Dach to be good. But obviously, the Canadiens might not be comfortable pinning a lot of their playoff aspirations on his health because he has had issues, and this is why I'm a little bit worried. If he was able to remain healthy, I would say, hey, he can probably score 45, 50 points. It's not as much of an emergency, but they need to get on this, in my opinion, and this is looking really, really good. Guys, I am going to leave this video here. If you could make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, I would greatly appreciate it, and make sure to have a great day. Goodbye, guys.